Yes, you read the thumbnail right. You saw the title. You know who is on the Curly Girl interview today. Hey there, guys. Welcome back to my channel. Oh my goodness, I could not be more excited right now. Real life Curly Girl agreed to do a Curly Girl interview on my channel. Every time I get to talk with Allison, she is the exact same human, the most amazing human, and she is so much fun, and I fangirl every single time. It doesn't matter how many times I get the opportunity to pick her brain. She's always so much fun. So without further ado, let's just start this interview with Allison, because she's a wealth of knowledge. Hey there, Allison. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, friend?
I'm so excited. I get to have real life Curly Girl on a Curly Girl interview. Ah!
I'm excited to talk to you. I've known you for a long time. We've known each other for a long time, like just on the interwebs, on the social webs, and now in real life, and like now in this new venture that you're doing, like your new life. You know, you've got the bump situation. I don't know if you want to show that off. This might be the time to do that.
Okay. Yes.
Do it. Oh, it's just so cute. I'm so excited for your family.
Thank you. Theoretically, when this interview goes live, I will already be snuggling sweet baby girl. But yeah, I think I did totally freak you out when we met in person because I fangirled so hard. So I apologize for that.
You have nothing to apologize for ever. And I was fangirling over you on the inside. I just locked it down a little bit better. I just locked it up.
Composed.
I just panic on the inside. I shut down completely. That's how I roll.
I love it. Oh my goodness. Well, Allison, thank you so much for coming on. You were absolutely the first person I started watching when I started researching wavy curly hair. I loved your approach.
That means so much to me. Thank you.
You were so scientific, and I loved how you went down into ingredients. And so I loves it. You made me want to do all the research.
I love the nerding out part. It's my favorite. Give me all the ingredients. I mean, products are still my number one love. I love formulation. I love thinking about how those things go together. I just tried out a new product from Hair Story that they're coming out with. It's probably top secret. I'm probably not supposed to talk about it. They're probably going to get mad at me, but I'll keep that. But it was so much fun to try a product that's just like in sample packaging. Here's what it's going to be. What do you think about it? Like getting involved in that process was super fun. And like, I don't know, maybe one day we'll see. Anyway, it's always in the back of my mind. That may be a place to go play sometime. We'll see. One day. Anyway, with that,
that's so cool.
I love products.
So let's talk about you, your hair, and your hair story. How would you describe your hair?
My hair, I have a very smooth cuticle. I have a very flat root, as Atoya Bass, who we're both familiar with, and many of our viewers are familiar with. She talks about silky roots a lot. And I definitely have that kind of silky root situation, which means that basically my hair just wants to hug my head. And I hate that. And I want to have big hair. I'm always trying to make it bigger. And y'all, I did zero for this today because I thought Courtney was going to be podcasting me and not videoing me. But this is me. You get me. So there you go.
I think your hair looks really cute today.
Thank you. I did nothing. We're on day, I guess I washed yesterday. I did nothing. I want it to be big, but my hair is big. I want it to be big. It's fine. It's not prone to frizz. I'm kind of lucky in that way. I had a lot of frizz in the beginning. I learned a lot about that and how it related to buildup. And I know now that when I don't get buildup, that my hair is just it's just sort of wavy-ish. It's a smooth cuticle. It's low porosity. I keep it really short. So what do I know about my hair? It waves well. Texture needs to be encouraged. It's not curly. It's smooth cuticle. It's naturally shiny. It's got a lot of things going for it, but it's never going to be the big curls that I originally wanted when I started on my journey, like almost 7 years ago.
Yeah, I understand that. Is it more fine or more coarse?
It is on the finer side of medium. So we've got fine, medium, and coarse textures. Well, I never want to leave other people in the middle because that's most of
Yeah.
us. You know what I mean? So it's a medium texture. Like if I'm actually looking at the actual diameter, which I'm not because I'm not getting out like a microscope and measuring everything. But if I'm approximating based on what I see and what I've seen when I look at my client's hair, yes, there's actual really fine, delicate hair out there. Most of us don't have that. Yes, there is really strong, coarse, I like the word strong, as you know,
That's
hair
good.
out there. And most of us also don't have that. But there's that range in the medium category. What do you lean a little bit more towards? So I'm definitely more in the middle category and I lean to fine.
What got you interested in this whole curly hair world? What got you opening that door and
I
walking through?
wanted to shave my head.
Really?
I'm just so sick of my hair. I was so sick of my hair. And I think everybody, or maybe just me, I don't know. I feel like everybody gets to a point, they have to, it can't just be me, where they just hate their hair. You see so many people like Shosh, for example, well, she curly girl on Instagram. All of her like reels and Instagrams are like putting off doing the hair and do I have to do this today? And like I see that so hard. Like hair is a notoriously difficult thing to care for. 100%. It just is. It's a bunch of strands of keratin sticking out of your head that you're supposed to make look presentable. It's just supposed to soften the blow from a caveman and help you from not getting sunburned. It's got a
So
point, but here we
true.
are trying to be supermodels. You know, think about
Yeah.
the evolutionary purpose of the feathers on our heads, right? But
Yeah.
we're trying to make it look beautiful. So I got to a point after baby number two where I, I had been bleaching my hair since I was, my gosh, like probably 16 years old. I started with highlights, but then the 90s highlights got thicker and chunkier. And so then eventually I was just platinum all over because that's what happens. And so you just become platinum and then you're straightening it because we lived through like the Jennifer Aniston, like the Rachel look,
Mhm.
and we all wanted to be just straight and smooth and all those things. And then I had baby number two. I went back to baby number one. I went back to work. And then I had baby number two. And I was like, my hair does not want to straighten. Like I'd straighten it and it would just frizz. It was like resisting massively. And so
Wow.
I had lived in Virginia for a little while before I got married and had kids, like in my mid 20s. And so it was by the beach, Virginia Beach, and it was very humid. I I wore my hair curly a lot because I just gave up. The dew point was frequently in the 80s. The humidity was frequently in the 90s. And so it was just, I remember the first time I stepped out of the car when I moved, when I arrived in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and the humidity was like 94%. I remember this because I actually looked. I don't even know why I had an interest in it. And I
Wow.
didn't know that was really a thing. And I was like,
I'm
the
swimming.
air. It was, I'm swimming. I'm swimming through the air. It was so thick. You could cut the air with a knife. And so at that point, I was like, I'm going to kind of give up a little bit. So I wore my hair curly, and I can show you pictures of that sometime if you want, or send you some if you want them for this or whatever. But I wore my hair curly wavy for the most of the time for the 3 years that I lived there. Then I moved back to Dallas and I don't live by the beach now. And I worked for a corporate company and waves and curls weren't really in. We had a thing at the last company I worked for called Funky Hair Friday in our communications and marketing department, which I look back on now and I'm like, that was odd. Like, why didn't we just wear our hair the way we wore it? But that wasn't really in style then. It
Yeah.
wasn't really okay
Yeah.
professionally. We were all a bunch of professional marketing people that blew out and bleached our hair. That's what you did. That's
Right.
you had to, right? Nobody even thought of another way to do it. So I had my second baby. I moved away from there, etc., and came to Dallas. In the corporate company that I worked for. Left that company and had babies at home, and hair became more resistant to straightening. And I thought, I'm not even going anywhere, like except to the grocery store. How can I just embrace what I have? I'm just going to stop doing anything to it. So I stopped doing anything to it. Well, lo and behold, the product that I used, and this is really what started it, the product that I had used for probably 10, 15 years to make my hair curly was discontinued. I had no idea what to do. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know. I was not a product junkie at all. Like, what was in
Yeah.
it? what did it do? Was it a gel? Was it a cream? Was it an enhancer? I didn't even know what those things were. It
Yeah.
was a pink jelly looking substance, and I didn't know it was in it. I didn't know how it worked, and I didn't know how to replace it. So of course I went on eBay and panic bought all the bottles that I could for like way too much money. I still have some in my cabinet. And
I love that. What product was it?
it was KMS Curl Up. It was their part of their curl up line, and it was called Curling Balm. And I
Okay.
know now that it was a curl enhancer, and it was generally leveraging quinoa protein as its most enhancing ingredient. It might have had VPVA copolymer in it as well for like a little bit of hold, but I don't have the bottle in front of me to look at it. So it was an enhancing gel of some kind. So that's what I fell in love with. And that's what I couldn't figure out how to replace. And nothing else seemed to do the job. I bought like a ton of products and I finally gave up. I panic bought all that I could. And I'm searching for this product, discontinued products on the internet. And I come across the Curly Girl Method manual. And it's like a free download, or maybe I spent $5 or $10 on it.
Hey,
And I
yeah.
was like, let's just do this. What can it hurt? It was like March 10th of like 2016. And
Oh,
so
wow.
I sat down, I read the thing that evening, like the whole thing, and I was like,
Yeah.
starts tomorrow. And that was it. I never really straightened my hair again. There have been a few times that I've done it just to see how it looked and how healthy it was or how long it really was and all that kind of stuff. But that was what did it. I read the book. I changed the way I started applying products. And so you have a hatred of one's hair plus a discontinued product equals a new way of doing things and a whole crazy life change.
Oh, your story sounds kind of similar to mine
Yeah.
in that when I got my hands on the book, I read the whole book and then was like, tomorrow, here we go. Wee.
It
And then
begins.
and then it begins. So,
I
what
love
was
it.
the biggest obstacle you worked through when you were going through all of this?
Myself. I
Yeah.
was the biggest obstacle. I was in my way. And I wanted more than my hair could possibly give me at the time, almost all of the time. I was a total product junkie. I I mean, it was like there was a whole guilt factor to it. I got really good at buying hair products from places I knew that I could return them at the beginning of my credit card cycle so that I could try them for a little while and then return them before my credit card cycle closed if I hated them. Just because I couldn't seem to find anything that worked the way I wanted it to. And I didn't want to be penalized by my husband for spending so much on hair products. Now, granted, I wasn't spending on luxury products. I wasn't buying the salon grade, salon level products at the time. It was things from Target and Walmart, but still those things add up and
Yeah.
everybody has a budget. And so I was trying to play within mine. And eventually, I had to tell my husband, and this is what I tell my clients too, is if you have a budget and you want to play with hair products, consider it a hobby. I'm not going rock climbing. I'm not buying a new bicycle because I'm into biking. I'm not buying a Peloton because I don't work out. It's like
Yeah.
my hobby is my hair and I'm learning things and it's interesting to me and this is fun. So I had to get over the guilt and just let myself experience and play with the products and learn what I wanted to learn. And that's how I really got into learning about ingredients. And like I created a spreadsheet of like products I would use, how my hair reacted, and then what I thought the ingredients might be that impacted that based on what I learned on the internet. There was a lot of cross-referencing there. So I got
That is so
really
cool.
it was fun. I got really scientific about it and I loved it, but I had to get out of my own way in terms of guilt and in terms of just product junkyism and really focusing on I liked this product. What did I like about it? And then use that for a while. But I did learn that rotating products gave me more consistent results sometimes than sticking with the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't find that to be true anymore. Excuse me. I don't find that to be true anymore of where I am in my journey. Maybe it's because my hair is shorter. Maybe it's because I wear it differently. Maybe it's because it's mostly just virgin hair that's like never seen a flat iron. It could be all of those variables. I don't really know. But what I do know is that when my hair was newer to this and seriously dehydrated and higher porosity because it had been abused for years, it it built up a lot faster. I
Yeah.
was using cheaper products, and all of those things really played on each other on my hair. So they're
Hair
this
in
build up
transition
playing.
seems to be so persnickety.
It is. That is a great word to describe it. Hair in transition is persnickety. I love it. It is absolutely. It is very different than hair that's been doing this for a while.
Yeah. So, in case you referenced your clients, in case somebody watching this video doesn't know, what did you do? What did you do? You were a stay-at-home mom keeping kiddos, you got interested in hair, and then what did Allison run off and do?
What do you mean, what did I run off and do?
You got certified, and now you are a wavy curly hair magician, aka hairstylist.
I was like, which part of what did I do?
You've done a lot. You've done a lot. That is so true. I'm sorry, but
no, it's fine. I was like, but
you decided to get your cosmetology license.
Preschool, I did. But when my kids were both in preschool, that's when I started making YouTube videos. That was the next big thing, because I started Instagram.
Okay.
Then they went to preschool. Then I went to YouTube. You're right. But the big crazy thing that I did was I went to cosmetology school, because I had a lot of people from my channels, which is such a, I mean, it's amazing to have people put so much trust in you that they say, how can you help me with my hair? Like, this is the problem I'm having. What's the solution? But I love finding solutions. Like, give me a problem, I'm going to figure out how it works. I'm going to figure out how to fix it. Like, that's so much fun to me. So I love doing that. And so when people started asking me, hey, can you help me with my hair? Can you do virtual consultations? Can you do all this stuff? I didn't really feel like I was prepared to do that, because I'd really only had my hands in my own hair. And then in like a couple friends or family members on occasion, I told my husband, I think I want to go to cosmetology school. And he was like, meow. So we decided to make that happen. And it was a crazy, crazy time in my lives, and in our lives. And it's still a bit of a blur for me. It was about a year and a half of school, 5 o'clock to like 10:30, Monday through Friday, for 18 months. And I graduated at the very beginning of the pandemic. So that put a damper on things, but I learned a ton. I learned a ton being there. I had great, great instructors who really cared. I really learned about cutting curly hair when I was in school, because wise or unwise, I shared with my audience that I was in school. And so a lot of people from school, or from my social channels, booked with me at school. So I didn't ever really do a whole lot of straight hair cutting or standard hair cutting. I had to dive in and figure it out. And I had to figure out what worked and what didn't work. And that's why those haircuts are $10. So there's that.
So when you were referencing your clients earlier, you were referencing the people who you cut and style their hair
in school. Yes. So my clients are the ones I started with in school, and the clients that I have now, because I am now a professional stylist. So I did graduate like right before the pandemic hit. I have my own studio, and it is a crazy, crazy journey of embracing one's own hair and educating others online, to educating and working with people in person. And it's been so rewarding and so much fun. And I'm always excited to see where this is going to go. I feel like the sky is kind of the limit with this career, and the one-on-one connection to me is so awesome. When people tell you, and you know this, when people tell you on the regular that you've changed their life, it's like, it's the greatest feeling in the world. Like, you never get enough of that.
It feels weird. It feels good, but it feels hard to hear, but it's good. You know,
it is the first few times you hear it, it is hard to hear. You're like, I couldn't have possibly done that.
Right.
But I realize now what a difference it does make when you have acquired a lot of knowledge and you can pour that into somebody else. And then the next time you see them, they come in, their confidence is sky high. They look amazing. They figured some things out. And you have changed lives, and it's amazing. And I remember when I first started on this journey, I was so lost. And there were some people that I followed on like Instagram and YouTube, and I would leave them comments and say like, I'm so lost. Like, can you help me? I'll set up, time with you. I'm happy to pay you for your time. Like, can I just talk with somebody? And they never responded. And I promised myself that when I started these channels and I started this business, that I would never not respond to people. I would respond to everybody I possibly could. And it takes a
Mhm.
lot of time to do that. It takes time away from creating more content. It takes time away from doing other things, but it's worth it because then you see the fruits of your efforts and that people are more confident. And whether they choose to keep wearing their hair wavy or whether they choose to then wear it straight, whatever they choose to do, they still have that knowledge and
Yeah.
they know that there are people out there who will pour into them when they need it.
What
So
got you interested in making your YouTube channel? Let's do this interview all out of order.
I love it. I love out of order. So I started my Instagram, I want to say in the summer of 2016. And then by fall, I just felt like Instagram was so limiting. It didn't have reels then, it didn't have
Right.
videos then. There were much tighter caps on the captions that you could post in terms of how long they could be. It was almost like Twitter with pictures.
Right.
Instagram was a very different place back then. So, and you could only post one picture at a time. You couldn't do multiples. So I could post one photo with like maybe 100 characters of a caption. And that was all I could do. And it was useful and I could respond to people. But like I was starting to get to the point where I had just a few hundred followers, which felt like a lot to me because they were all
Yeah.
strangers. They weren't my family and friends. And it was like super, super weird, but it felt like a lot. I remember New Year's Day of 2017, I woke up and I had 300 followers, Courtney. And I was like, they really like me. Anyway, so I started YouTube for a couple reasons. I felt like I wanted to have a better outlet or a better platform to like reach through the internet and say, here, this is what I've learned. I want to tell you all about it. And I'm going to be really long-winded because that's how I am. I'm so sorry in advance. You're going to need to like skip forward to minute 7 if you actually want the good stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But I was like, here's all the stuff I know. Like, let's be friends. Like, let me help you. I'm also kind of a slightly lonely stay-at-home mom, and I'm gonna just
Yeah.
like reach through the internet and like make friends with people. And so like those were a couple reasons. And then the other reason was I had watched some other like kind of wavy curly or other curly YouTubers, and I I just felt like they weren't talking about wavies the same way that I could talk about wavies. And so that kind of created my lane because they weren't talking about your hair or my hair. And I have a background in video communications. I've trained CEOs, for example, on how to speak to the camera, how to talk in sound bites, how to be engaging, how to not be long-winded like me. And I
Wow.
figured out that I could create a nice background and I could talk to people and just be engaging and share some content that might help some people out. It helped me and I got a really good response from it. And um, that's how that started. And that's how it's going. It's a bit of a neglected channel at the moment, just because I don't know how to clone myself,
Yeah.
but working on all of those things and hoping to come out with more content in 2022 that's meaningful for people. So it's still there. It's just a little slow.
And I bet you anything that 98% of the people watching this video are already following you on YouTube. But
So
if you want to get in contact with Allison more, you know where the button is. We've talked about this before in previous interviews. Press the little drop down arrow, expand the description box, click show more, and you will see all of Allison's info. You can follow her everywhere. Allison, where can people you've developed an email list and it's so helpful. Your newsletter is amazing.
thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to, at the moment, I feel like I've got content and creative stuff sort of like smattered across the internet, if that's a word, and it's a bit of a
Yeah.
mess. So I've tried to condense it all and bring it all into a hub that right now is my website. And right now it might stay this way. I haven't decided yet. It's my hair studio name website, which is Texture Studio. So that is TX for the abbreviation of Texas. So it's TXTURE hyphen studio.com. So that is where that is my hub. That is where people can find my links to book with me for an actual in-person haircut. And you don't have to be in Dallas to come here for me to do your hair and to talk with you. My new client sessions are 2 hours long. We talk about everything. Like the consultation is 30 minutes. For some people, they want to just jump in. For others, it's not long enough. And I totally get that. And I'm willing and happy to roll with whatever everybody wants. But the thing that I hear the most from my clients in my chair is, this is the first time I felt heard by a stylist.
Yeah.
And I don't want to knock any other stylists out there, because there are stylists out there who, I'll be honest, are much better than I am, who probably are much better at doing the same things that I do. But what a lot of them are not doing is a consultation and charging for that time.
Yeah.
That time is the most important, because that's where I figure out what somebody's lifestyle is like, what they're willing to do, what they want to do, what they want to achieve. And I put all those pieces together, and then I get to know their hair, and then we create something they can live in and with, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome. I love it. I love the appointments. They're my favorite. So it's I'm doing something I love. I'm calling it work. That's fine. So that's where you can find out about appointments on that website. You can find a link to my online education hub, which is growing this year. It's called The Wavy Life. That will be growing this year as well. I've got some really exciting content planned for that. I'm so excited. And I may or may not be starting a blog on there. I had a blog a long time ago. Did you know that? In like 2016, but I kind of killed it because I just, there's not enough of you to go around. So it is what it is. So I might start that back up again on the website. And then I've got links on there to articles that I've written and published for Naturally Curly, for Curl Magazine, for Voyage Dallas is a local outlet that I've been interviewed for. So there's knowledge there. And then there's also, of course, links to my YouTube and my Instagram and my Facebook and my Pinterest and like all that kind of stuff, where I just want people to find the information. I don't care if they find me. I just want them to find the knowledge and find the information and get what they need to embrace and encourage the waves that they have on their head. Because being a wavy, I think, is the hardest, honestly.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks that.
It's the hardest because your family suddenly goes, so are you not brushing your hair anymore?
Yep.
And then
what's your hair doing? It's not curly. It's not straight. What are you doing?
It doesn't have enough of a definition for other people to accept it as what it is.
Right.
And that's not fair. But it is the world we live in, but the world we live in is also changing,
That's true.
honestly, thanks in large part to our African ancestors and brothers and sisters who have been trying to wear their hair natural for years and not really been allowed to express that for hundreds of years for hundreds of reasons. And I won't go into any of that, but thank goodness that is all changing and we are all accepting who we are. It's so cool. It's so beautiful. And it's just such a neat worldwide cultural movement to be a part of. But really, as wavies, we are the in-between. We are not straight. We are not curly. We wake up in the morning with hair that is disheveled and it is not what it was the day before. And then we wash it and it's totally not what it was 30 minutes ago. So stylists don't know what to do with that a lot of the time. Our parents don't know what to do with that a lot of the time. Our in-laws certainly don't know what to do with that. So
that's
there's
true.
There's a lot of stuff going on there. So being a wavy is a fight for acceptance in some ways.
I love that. What is the best piece of advice that you would give someone who is just starting this process? If you could talk to Allison back in 2016, what would you tell her?
That is the hardest question I feel like you could have asked me. Because there's so many ways you can go. There's so many ways you can go.
That's true.
Do you go the knowledge route or do you go the product route? And I think that depends on your personality. Honestly, I think if someone had just told me, Allison, start with consistency, I would have said, okay. But then I would have also said, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And what that means to me when I say it out loud is get yourself a lineup of products that are silicone free, that aren't full of like mango seed butter and shea butter and lots of heavy ingredients, heavy stuff. And when I say a set of products, what I mean is some gentle kind of cleanser of some sort. And if you're not co-washing, I don't know that I recommend starting with co-washing for everybody because that's a whole giant leap. Some kind of nourishing, not building up conditioner, a leave-in conditioner, a clarifying shampoo of some kind, a deep conditioning treatment of some kind, the cleansing and conditioning set, That's the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Styling products, get yourself, I know I already said leave-in conditioner. I've got them in front of me. Do you see them as I'm motioning to them and moving them
I
around
do.
on my
Yes.
desk? Okay, get yourself some kind of like foam or cream-based product to layer underneath some kind of gel.
Ooh,
Start
I
there.
love that.
See what happens. Stop blowing it out because you're mad at it. Stop flat ironing it because you're mad at it. Stop trying to use your clarifying shampoo once a week because it feels so different. It needs
Yeah.
to feel different. So some of that is just diving in with a set of products that is a new way of doing things. Oh, and have fun with putting your products on wet hair. Because when you go
Yes.
from straightening your hair to wearing your hair wavy, that's the biggest change, is being cool with it.
What
Feels
is
so
a
wrong at first.
scrunch? How do
Did
we
you
do
not
this?
feel like when you put cream on your wet hair that you were literally putting mayonnaise on your hair and you were like,
Yes.
this is wrong?
Yes. Everything
is
in your
wrong.
body is like, this is way too much stuff for my hair.
And then, and that's like the number one comment I think I have gotten on all of my YouTube videos is, you sure do use a lot of products on your hair, but where did they go? Because my hair was
see,
like,
it looks okay.
it looks okay. It turns out hair is very thirsty. So
It can soak. Yeah.
yes. So water plus product is everything. Water plus conditioner is life. So if I could tell somebody where to start with a good set of products, like a set of something new. Don't try to use your old stuff. Start with something new and go from there and be consistent about it, and be intentional about it. When I say intentional, I mean, well, I got out of the shower and then I towel dried my hair and then I put some stuff on there and then I diffused it. Didn't come out the way I wanted. Well, you weren't intentional. You know what I mean? Like, do everything with intent. When you use that leave-in conditioner, how much are you using? If you're looking at how much hair you have, is it this much? Is it that much? Is it just a little dot? Like, think about that. When you apply it, be intentional. We're going to emulsify it first. Apply it gently. Are we smoothing? Are we raking? What's our goal? Are we trying to limit frizz? Are we trying to increase definition? Are we scrunching? Are we trying to encourage curl? Are we trying to squeeze out some of the water? Intention. When we dry it, what's our intention? Do we want volume? Okay, then we're going to lift up here at the roots. We're going to take our diffuser and we're going to hold it way up here. I'm diffusing with intention. If I want to elongate my curls, if I really want like zero frizz, then I'm going to, why does it look like I'm wearing a hair hat? Then I'm going to take my diffuser and I'm going to have it down, or I'm going to just kind of diffuse it out here to the side. I'm going to hold it out here, just hover, right?
Yeah.
Intention. So every technique has intention. What's yours? I would really, really highly recommend that where education is concerned, consume it in little bits, because I know that everybody is getting their education from the interwebs, and they're looking for every person on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok that has hair like them and trying to go through all of their posts and do every single thing they do. Consume your education, do it absolutely 100%, but do it in small bits, because it's so easy to get overwhelmed and think you have to do absolutely everything and buy absolutely everything. And then when your hair doesn't look like hers, you're really disappointed.
Yeah.
So I want people, when they start this journey, to look for their own improvement and don't measure their hair against anybody else's. Like, embrace what your hair is doing at the time.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're just going to set yourself up for disappointment. And I totally lived that for a long time.
I remember drinking from the fire hose and just feeling like there's no way I can process and or consume all of this right now, but I have to in order to do this right, you know.
Right.
And there's no right or wrong way to do this. There are steps forward.
That brings to mind one of my favorite phrases, which is stop shooting all over yourself.
I've heard that recently. I love that.
It's one of my favorites because I've done it so long. I think we all have all the things you should do. I should use a Denman brush. I should finger coil. I should rake. I should praying hands. I should pixie diffuse. I should clip my roots. Oh my gosh. Great. Those things are all awesome. Should you do all of them? You should do whatever you can handle.
Yeah. Allison, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing all of your incredible wavy curly wisdom with us. Guys,
Thanks for having me.
seriously, open up the description box, follow Allison everywhere, give her a big giant internet hug from all of us. If you're not already following her, I would be surprised if you're not, because she's awesome and amazing.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Courtney, for having me on. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you would even want to have me on your channel. I love that. Thank you so much. I think that as wavies, we should always strive to be supporting each other wherever we can. And I just love this so much. So thank you for including me. I am honored to be on your channel, and I'm honored to know you as a person. This wavy journey has brought us so many friends I don't think we ever even knew we would have. So it's just been, man, it's been really cool. It's been really, really fun. So thank you very much. I am honored.
You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you. Thank you. I need to have you on my channel. Let's do that next.
Let's do
That sounds
that
good.
next.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye. All right, guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Yes, Allison is awesome. Right? Right? She does have an epic newsletter that is actually really informative and helpful. So check that out in the description box down below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, we only have one more curly girl interview on the books. So you're gonna wanna make sure you're subscribed. If you missed any of the other curly girl interviews, don't worry. The end screen of all of these videos will have the playlist linked to the entire series of curly girl interviews so that you can go back and watch them all at your leisure. They are all so good and special and unique in their own way. All right, guys, I hope you are having an absolutely fantastic day, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.